how's it going? Sean Fletcher with BridgeMurrayMagazine.com. I'm sitting here with Tim Pocock. How's it going, buddy?
Good, man. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, you as well. Tell us where you're from.
Well, I guess the obvious answer is I'm from Australia. A less obvious answer is I'm actually from South Africa, and I grew up in Ireland, so I'm from everywhere.
What made you choose acting?
I don't really know. It was kind of accidental, really. I was a singer first. I was like very musical as a child, and just happened to get cast in a musical, and kind of liked the whole acting thing while I was doing that, and thought, yeah, give that a go. And as I grew up, it kind of just kept feeling right, kept feeling like the thing I wanted to do. So I thought, yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Tell us what we may have seen you in. I know camp and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
Other than that, maybe prior to that?
Right, yeah. Well, I guess my sort of big credit is I played Scott Summers, who's better known as Cyclops, in X-Men Origins Wolverine, which came out in 2009.
Okay.
So that's one of my my little prized possessions in my credit list.
Not bad.
It's not bad. It was actually my first on-camera job. I'd done a lot of theatre and musical theatre and stuff, and then that was my first like screen job. So that was pretty cool to get to do something like that, like straight off the bat. And then obviously camp is on the air at the moment. I've done a couple of other films that are coming out later this year. I've got a World War I drama due for release in the States, I think mid-November. It's called Forbidden Ground, so keep an eye out for that one. And I've got a horror film called Lemon Tree Passage, which I think is going to start doing film festival circuits later in the year. And then just other TV series. Did an Aussie sort of teen series called Dance Academy, which is actually going pretty well internationally. It's on Nickelodeon here in the States, and has quite a big following, which is really cool to be involved in something that, you know, we thought was going to be kind of smaller, and then it's kind of blown up and become something that people really like. So yeah, that's kind of me so far.
So you're not really busy?
Not busy at all, no. But ask me in 15, 20 years' time, and I'll let you know what I got.
Who inspires you? You know, very good question. Who inspires you as an actor?
There's a lot. At the moment, Ryan Gosling is someone that I really look up to. I feel like he's had a really interesting career, and I'd love to sort of emulate that in some way. I love the films that he does. I like the choices that he makes. He's very effortlessly cool and very sort of confident on screen, which is obviously something as an actor that's like really, really good to have.
Dream role and dream co-star.
Wow, dream role. I'd love to. I don't know. I'd love to play a sociopath, like Christian Bale in American Psycho. Sort of, you know, the kind of person that you wouldn't necessarily expect to be the way that he is. And I think one of the reasons for that is that I don't often get to go for some of those characterish type of roles because, you know, when you're younger and you're at a sort of a certain point in your career, you tend to get cast in roles that speak of who you are as a person, you know. So I tend to sort of just go for like the guy next door or, you know, the jock or whatever. So people don't tend to really let me show that I'm maybe capable of playing the junkie or the serial killer. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So that'd be like a really cool role to play. Co-star, yep, mentioned Christian Bale. Definitely would love to work with him at some point.
All right, moving on. Tell us what it's like on the set of camp.
Very high energy. I think pretty much what you see on screen is what it's like off screen as well, because we shoot on a practical set. So the actual location itself, they built all of those cabins. They built the dining hall, the TP, Max cabin, everything. It was all built from scratch at that location. So we are always there. We're enjoying the sunlight as much as it looks good on screen. We're actually enjoying it as well. We're playing all of those games that you see us doing. So yeah, it's pretty much just like being at camp.
Where's camp filmed?
So interestingly enough, it's filmed in far north New South Wales in Australia.
Really?
in a tiny little place in the middle of nowhere. About a good hour from the coast, which is where we were all staying. So yeah, it was definitely a labour of love every morning to get up super early and then have to travel for an hour to get into set and then have like a really long day of filming, and then you'd finish, you'd be like, yes, I finished work, and then you have another like hour long trip back home.
Now, did you ever go to camp as a kid?
Not really. Camp isn't really a big thing in Australia. We don't really do it, which was an interesting thing about doing this series because, you know, it seemed to be something that was such a rite of passage for American youth, and that's not really something that we understand as Australians, so that's not really something that we do. But, I mean, we would have, say, school excursions where you might stay overnight somewhere, that kind of thing. That's probably the closest thing to it. But no, I didn't really ever go to camp. And to be honest, I can't really see myself, especially as a teenager, really being interested in that. I was very closed off and shy, and I was kind of the overweight kid that never did any sport and didn't like being outdoors and liked the comfort of his own house. So if camp was something that they did in Australia, I probably wouldn't have gone.
How are you and your character Robbie different?
We're actually very similar. Robbie's probably the character that's closest to me that I've ever played. I think maybe the difference is, and the struggle that I had is because we are so similar, sometimes they would write him that he would react in a certain way which perhaps wouldn't be the same way that I would react. So I was trying to find within me the reason to react that way.
Speaking of that, is it tough doing the American accent?
Not really. We had a dialect coach with us the whole time. So she was there sort of to do warm-ups with us before we'd film, and then she'd be there during the scene and making sure that we were sounding like actual Americans. I've actually played American a few times in Wolverine. I played American in an Aussie film that I did recently. I played an American in that. I did a guest role in an Australian TV series where I played an American in that as well. So this is like my fourth time playing an American, and it might sound funny, but we actually... as in acting schools in Australia, we actually have like classes to learn the American accent. We actually study it at acting school.
Can you give us a little American?
Oh no, you're putting me on the spot. Hopefully, I'm not going to make a fool of myself by trying to do an American accent during this interview.
Perfect. What other accents, because you mentioned you lived all around, so what other accents can you do?
One of my party tricks is to tell people that I was born in South Africa and I lived there for a while. And then my father got a job in Ireland, so we moved there. And then I grew up there for quite a few years. And then we came out to Australia. And I reckon I'd probably still have my Irish accent, but I got cast in a musical. It was The Sound of Music. I was playing Kurt Von Trapp, and the director said to me, "You're the only Von Trapp that has an Irish accent. We need to get you to sound a bit more Australian." So then I had to like really try really hard to do a really over-the-top Australian accent so that it would just naturally just sit as a normal accent. So that's my party trick, where I try and go through all of them. But, yeah.
Awesome. Oh yeah, we saw you play the piano, which you're pretty amazing at. Any other hidden talents, or? Because you said you were singing, but I mean that piano, you were just...
I've played piano since I was 3. So
it was put on. I didn't put. I mean.
No, that was me playing. Thank you.
Yeah.
I've played since I was 3, and I really enjoy it. I don't know. I could spend 3-4 hours a day just sitting at a piano and playing. It's not a chore for me at all. It's how I blow off steam. So when I'm away from home, it's kind of hard to be away from it for such a long time. I don't know if I have any other hidden talents. It's one of those things I wouldn't even really necessarily call that a hidden talent of mine. It's just something that I do. I think sometimes hidden talents, they're so hidden that even you don't realise that you have them maybe. So I might bust out something at some point and you'd be like, "See, that's what I'm talking about." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." Yeah, exactly. No, I can't actually dance. That's one thing I can't do, which is ironic because I was on a TV series for 2 years called Dance Academy, which is all about dancers, and I can't dance to save my life, but yeah.
Nice. Best memory working on camp?
Ooh, working on camp, best memory. We had this night where we were filming around the campfire, and it felt for the first time like we were actually at camp, because they had the fire there and we had all the extras there and we were eating s'mores, and it was just really cool. It was really chilled, laid back, relaxed, and everyone really enjoyed that night of filming. It just seemed effortless and the pressure just seemed to lift, and I think that was sort of the moment that we were able to really then just release ourselves to the process and really enjoy the filmmaking that we were doing. So that was a pretty good memory.
That's Great. Must-have item in your wardrobe?
In my wardrobe, I always have like a bunch of just plain t-shirts, like white, black, blue, navy blue. I think it's good to have for auditions, but also I like to just keep it simple. I'm a very simple dresser. So just having just the standard colours is pretty good. And just a couple of different pair of jeans. And people give me a hard time, but I pretty much go everywhere wearing flip-flops or thongs, we call them in Australia, but I think flip-flops here in the States, so people don't confuse it with some other item of clothing. So yeah, I'm always wearing flip-flops.
I was wearing thongs.
Yeah.
Advice for actors that are trying to make it?
Well, look, I would never pretend that I've made it, so I wouldn't want to give anyone advice as like in that kind of respect, but I think one thing that I have learnt and that possibly people who are just starting out should think about is that it takes time. So have patience and, just believe in yourself, because other people won't. You just have to know in yourself that you're capable of doing it, and just be patient, like I said, because it will take a while. And there's how long's a piece of string? There's
no expiration. Yeah.
Exactly. So, some people, rarely will have that overnight success, and then there'll be the other people who they'll call an overnight success, but then there's been 10, 15 years of trying and, being depressed and weeping into a pillow at night time, which I don't do. What?
Biggest goal this year? We got about 5 months left, I think.
Right.
4 maybe.
Biggest goal this year?
Maybe you've hit it.
I started the year wanting to get a job as a working actor, so that's happened. But I'd love to work again this year before the year's out. No, I just really want camp to succeed. I want people to keep watching it, and I'd love to go for a second season. I feel like we got to the end of filming the first season and we just sort of started to know our characters. We just started to get into the rhythm of the show and really been able to relax and enjoy making it. I think if we were to go for a second season, the fact that we know what we're doing and we're having so much fun will make the show even bigger and better. So yeah, that'd be definitely something that I'd want to get the word on this year.
Definitely watch it. Tell us about your Bridget Marie experience today and everything.
Oh, it was good. It was fun. Got to try on some clothes that I probably have not worn before. I've never worn navy stripes before, but I put it on and I was like, yeah, I kind of like this. So I'm going to go and buy myself that t-shirt. No, it was fun. Got to do a few different looks. Doing a bit of posing, which is always a little bit confronting for me. I find posing a little bit interesting and awkward, but I think you just have to go with it. And I think we got some really cool shots. So I'm looking forward to actually seeing the finished product and getting to show it off to all my friends and be like, hey, look what I did.
Look at this.
Yeah.
That's me. So now you have some time to plug. So any sites, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook?
Pretty much all of the above.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is there any site that you want to throw out there? Specifically, just for people to go check?
Well, I do have an official Facebook page, which is Tim Pocock Official. Okay. And then that one is sort of run by my management, but also myself. Like I'll go on there and do some things every now and then as well. And my Twitter is Real Tim Pocock, and that's building, which is nice. But I'd always love to have some more followers. It's always good to gauge kind of who's out there and who's paying attention, and so it's kind of nice to see what's working for people and what's not, because at the end of the day, my job is to entertain people. So I really want to hear what people are liking or disliking even as well, because then I can hopefully try and answer those and address those problems and give people what they're wanting. So yeah.
What is your vote? Your kind of quote that you want to stamp on to everybody, leave people with out there?
I have a few quotes that I live by. One of them is, life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. I always think I have to remind myself of that a lot as well. So that's one of my mottos. Another one, and this would sort of answer the question of advice that I give to people as well, is that sometimes the the higher you climb on a ladder, the further you have to fall. But I think when people try and push you in one way or another, if you've got a very specific idea of what you're wanting to do with your career, I always like to think that you'd prefer to be halfway up a ladder you want to climb than at the top of one you don't. So I kind of think that's a good one. But I think at the end of the day, my main motto, my main thing that I try and achieve in life is I just want to make everyone smile. At least once a day.
5 random fact round. Any pets?
No.
Favorite movie?
Sound of Music.
Nice, okay. Biggest fear?
Bees. And inward opening doors.
Have you been stung by a bee before?
Many times. And
You're
I
not
don't
allergic,
trust
are you?
inward opening doors because you got to open it and someone comes in and you squash your hand. Can't handle it.
Oh my god, that's awesome. Guilty pleasure food?
KFC.
Yeah?
Yeah. All the way.
And then Hollywood crush?
Just all of the above. Everyone. Emma Watson, Emma Stone, any of the Emmas,
Okay.
really. The Emmas.
The Emmas.
Yeah.
Nice.
Rachel McAdams. I bet her middle name's Emma.
All right, that's pretty much it. I appreciate sitting down with us.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.